Welcome, 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 guys. I've got a really good one in store for you today. And what I want to do, I want to keep this short because I want to give you guys some really awesome, actionable tips and information that you can take right away from listening to this and add it and implement it to your business immediately so that you can start getting more leads and start actually turning those leads into paying customers. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how I added over 500 members in a calendar year to my gym. Now, the biggest problem isn't specifically the offer. It can be one of the problems, but the biggest problem that most gym owners are suffering with is the fact that there's no sales process in place behind the offer. So there are multiple different offers that you can actually pick and multiple different ways to have success with them. So there are certain ones that are better than others, of course. I'm not going to cover all of the different types of front end offers in this particular video, but we will touch on that soon. The thing I just want to focus on today is one. I want to focus on one of them, and it's the one that worked very, very well for me and is still currently to this day working and working very well. Before we dive in, I do just want to clarify one thing that you will, if you haven't heard any language around this before, you will definitely start to pick it up a lot more of from now going forward. And it's the difference between what is a front end offer and what's a back end offer. So the front end offer very simply is the thing that we use to attract customers to come to us. And it's typically that thing that they get signed up for that's a very either short term or a defined end program. So anything like a 7-day challenge, a 6-week challenge, a month free, all those types of things, those are all front end offers because they're the vehicle that we are using to get people to come to us and become our leads on the front end, right? Because we're talking about the front end. They're not our full-time clients yet, but they're trying us out. They're giving us a shot. Now the back end is what happens when we take somebody who is in that front end offer or that front end cycle and we actually sell them into something longer term, which is a back end membership, right? Or a full year membership or whatever that's going to look like. Ideally, full year is amazing, but that's the difference between front end. So again, a front end offer is what the prospects are seeing and what they're coming to us for to try us out. And then a back end offer is what they're moving into to stay with us long term. So again, many offers work. There are a lot of different offers that work, and I'll dive into the differences and the nuances of all of them in another video. But again, there's things like 7-day trial, 21-day trial, 4-week trial, 6-week trial, 8-week trial. Again, often labeled challenges, right? Instead of trial, 8-week challenge, 6-week challenge, 21-day challenge, things like that. But again, there are so many different ones, and they are all very effective. So remember that they're all very effective, but the reason why most gym owners struggle with whichever one of those intro offers that they select is that they don't have an actual process in place. There's no sales process in place. So if a prospect comes to you for a 6-week challenge, let's say, but you don't have any actual sales process in place, then that's where the wheels fall off. That's where everything starts to fall apart and you don't really see it bearing as much fruit as you would hope. So all of these offers can be successful, and there are some that are better than others, but there needs to be a proper process in place for them to actually be truly effective. So what I'm going to focus on today, the offer that I'm going to focus on giving you guys the look under the hood, if you will, as to how it works, exactly how I've structured it, and the types of numbers that I'm getting in my facility. The 7-day free trial is what we're going to focus on solely today. So there's three main reasons why the 7-day free trial was and still is extremely effective for my facility. So the first one is for any ads that we run, which we do. We run ads. It's got very low lead cost. So the actual cost to get a new lead is very low. And that's because we're marketing it as a free program. It's a 7-day free program. So we're looking at anywhere from, we've seen as low as $3, $4, all the way up to about the 12, 13, 14, on the high end $15 range. If we see leads in the $15 range, I like to go in there and I start to make some tweaks because I'd like it to be under 10. So under 10 is Perfect case scenario, if we're closer to 5, then we're doing very, very well. Next up is high volume. So we get a lot of volume on this. There's a lot of people interested in it because it's short. It's short, it's free. There's not a whole lot of commitment. So it attracts a lot of people coming in. The next thing that is really, really imperative and on shorter front end offers or shorter, quote unquote trials, this typically doesn't present itself as an issue, but on any of the longer ones, it can definitely be an issue. And that's why the structure of the sales process that's in place is extremely important. But on the 7-day free trial, the reason why it's working so well is because it's got a very short time to cash, or it's very fast time to cash. So what that means is that if somebody comes in on day 0 and they're becoming a member in our free trial, it's only 7 days until we actually are able to collect cash from them. So that's a time to cash stat. If you are looking at a longer front end offer, let's say it's a 6 week or an 8 week, you have to structure it in such a way so that you're still able to get cash sooner than the entirety of that program. Again, not going to dive too much into those today, but we will. We will cover those, and I'll give you all of the details of all of those front end offers and how to structure the cadences and which one is going to work best for you. But for now, again, the 3 big reasons why we're leaning towards a 7-day free trial is you've got very low lead cost. It gets you a lot of volume, so you can pump a lot of people into your classes, which is good. Makes classes seem very busy, puts a really good energy inside of your facility. And then last but definitely not least, probably the most important, is actually very quick time to cash. So looking back at the average statistics of what I got in my gym, so my results on this one, the average, and these are monthly averages, of course, the average cash collected was 27,162. So you're looking at just over $27,000. Now, for reference, this is just cash collected, not the contract value. So the biggest difference there, obviously, is cash collected is what somebody is actually just straight up paying you, and the contract value is what they are going to pay you over the entirety of the term that they're actually signing. So in this particular case, what we would do is on day 7, we would sell them into a back end program, which was a full year, and they would be putting 6 weeks down on that full year. So, what this means is on average, we were collecting just over $27,000 in cash. And every month, you're also getting your EFTs that are being cycled into this. So, if you have your members paying you weekly, then you're collecting that cash and you're also collecting the new cash from all of your new prospects that are now going through your trial and turning into actual customers. So that money starts to compound very, very quickly. Next was our close rate. Our close rate was 73%. So what that means is that 73% of the people that actually got started on the trial and sat down with us at the end of it for their conversation, for their feedback meeting, 73% of those people were getting close. So 7 out of 10, just over 7 out of 10, were then converting into a back-end membership. So again, you can start to see now why that cash collected was high, because everybody who was coming in, 7 out of 10 people were turning into full-time members, which is great. So on average, we were getting about 36 and a half new members every single month, which is just under 10. And last but not least, the stat I want to mention to you guys is a 22-to-1 ROAS, which is your return on ad spend. So I mentioned briefly that an offer like this is great for ads because it's a very low barrier to yes. So you get low lead costs. So what that means, like I mentioned, let's say we had a $10 lead cost, right? If every lead that we got was $10, right? Every dollar that we put into ads, we were getting $22 back. So you can do the math, right? So just looking at the return on ad spend is a really important one. So of course there are other returns that you want to focus on. What's your just return on investment overall? But this is also the ROAS is a really good one to give us a key indication of it, exactly the amount of money that we're spending on advertising. How much are we getting back? And 22-to-1 is exceptional. So 22-to-1 is very high because again, for every $1 we spend, we get $22 back. I don't think you'd be upset if you gave me $1 and I gave you 22, right? So again, focusing in on that 7-day trial, let's say we didn't have a sales process in place. Okay, so let's say we were offering a 7-day trial with no sales process in place. What would that look like? Basically, what would happen is somebody would come in, we would enroll them in the 7-day trial. They would do as many classes as we allow them to, right? And for the sake of this, let's just compare it to what I actually offered, which is unlimited classes. So they would do as many classes as they chose to do. And then at the end of it, on day 7, they would either sign up or they wouldn't. That's leaving a lot of power in their hands. Not just the decision-making power of whether or not to continue, but that's leaving the fate of your business in the hands of somebody else. And it's basically saying, "Here, you take this, you take control, and you let me know. You let me know if you want to sign up, if you want to continue, if you want to keep training with us, let me know." And that's not an effective way to run your business at all. It's actually a pretty good way to run your business into the ground because now you are relying entirely on other people to make the decisions that you need them to make in order to essentially determine your survival. And quite honestly, that's a very common that's a very common approach to all front end offers, whatever they may be. Whether it's, like I said, that 7-day trial, it's a month free, it's a month paid at a low barrier price, whatever it is, most people just allow their prospects to come in, do whatever they want, and then make the decision on their own without any real conversation. Or if there is a conversation, it's like, okay, so how much does it cost? And then that gym owner, unfortunately, without knowing any better, we'll just tell them the price. Then the person will be like, yeah, we'll see. Or, of course, as we have all done, we've signed up a small number of those people. But again, you're not getting a 73% close rate by having a process or a lack of process quite like that. So that's a big part of the reason why the process is so, so, so important. So, as I mentioned, I want to dive a little bit into how this works. Actually, I want to dive more than a little bit into how it works. I want to dive exactly into how it works. So, I mentioned that it's simple. And I'm going to explain how the 7-day process works. And you might think to yourself, that's incredibly simple. And the reality is that it is incredibly simple. There is a difference. Simple does not mean easy. So there is a very clear distinction there. Just because we have something be simple doesn't mean that it's easy for us to execute. And the reason is because as we add more members or as we add more prospects into this pipeline, in this 7-day pipeline, it gets more and more challenging for us to continue to follow up with them, to make sure they're having an amazing experience, to dedicate our time, all of the things that come in as we start to scale this. Now, again, the nice thing about this is once we have this all in place, we can scale it because, again, when we look at the ad dollars and the ad cost and the return that we're getting, we know exactly how much we need to spend in order to get a certain return. So the same way that I've mentioned in the past that business can be broken down mathematically, that this is a prime example of it. So there are basically 5 key steps that can't be missed when it comes to this 7-day trial, this free 7-day program that we're offering our prospects. Now, 5 steps, does it seem like a lot? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on what you're used to. So essentially, people are going to come to you, and let's just, for the sake of argument, say they're only coming to you from Facebook ads. We know that's not the case, but when people come to you organically or through referrals, the closing percentage there is typically significantly higher. And I would still recommend following everything I'm about to outline. The only difference here will be your step 1. Step 1 in this particular case is you have Facebook ads, Facebook and Instagram, of course, but they're all run through the same platform if you don't have any experience, which is fine. That's not a problem. But you're going to be running ads and you're going to be running them for a free 7-day transformation kickstart. So this is going to be essentially a the wrapper that we're putting on this, the vehicle that they're getting is a 7-day free transformation kickstart program, which is going to give them the foundation of transforming themselves long term. So they're going to have the understanding of what they need to do long term by starting with us for the first 7 days. We are going to propel them. We're going to kickstart them into really skyrocketing their progress by starting with us for those first 7 days. So that's step 1. Step 2 is After they've seen the ad, after they click it, and after they've submitted their information, they're going to be sent to a landing page, which is going to book them a consultation call. That consultation call is going to be a really brief, about 15-minute call where you're going to find out a little bit about what they're looking to do, the goals they have, the things they've been struggling with in the past, that the things they've tried to do to solve it. Have they tried other gyms? Have they failed? Have they not tried anything? We just want to get a little bit of context to where they are, well, who they are, where they want to go, and what they've done to get there. Then we can give them a little bit of a brief synopsis on the program and we enroll them. So on that call, what we do is we sign them up. So this is number 3. We're going to sign them up and they get booked into 3 classes and they get booked into a feedback meeting. And that feedback meeting happens on day 7. Okay. So let's recap. Number 1, Facebook ads. The Facebook ads are going to be a free transformation, a free 7-day transformation kickstart program. Number 2 is after they've done that, they're going to be sent to a landing page to book a call with you. That's going to be number 3, which is that short consultation call, which gets them into 3 classes and books them into a feedback meeting. Now, here's the kicker. They need a credit card on file because they need to do a minimum of 3 classes. And in those 3 classes, if they either late cancel or no show, it's a fee for that. So you may already have this in place, but if you don't, I highly suggest it. The way I'm doing it is a 6-hour late cancellation no show. So if they cancel or don't show up uh, within 6 hours of class starting, they get hit with a $30 fee. The same rules apply to that feedback meeting on the 7th day, except it's a $50 fee. Okay, so that's the hook. That's basically the leverage that we have to make sure that they have some sort of skin in the game. Okay. Number 4 is our day 3 check-in. So the day 3 check-in is super, super informal. So what you do on the 3rd day is you reach out to them. Quick little text, quick little call. It's basically just that check-in and being like, hey, Susie, I saw you've been in a class already. Just wanted to know, how'd you like it? Did it kick you in the right direction? Where did you get a good sweat? How did you feel? Right? We want to just do that little personable one-to-one check-in. This one is super loose and very informal because we want it to be very casual. We want it to be like we are just checking up on them to see how they're doing. And again, the direction of that call takes shape based on how that person has done thus far. If, for example, they still haven't come into a class, they've canceled out of a couple classes, we want to call, we want to check. I'll be like, hey, what's going on? Has life gotten a little crazy? Let's get you rescheduled into some classes that we know work a little bit better with your lifestyle and with your crazy schedule right now. So we can tailor that conversation to where they are and what sort of things are coming up for them. Again, these are objections that may come up on that day 7 call. So we're getting a chance to knock these out right now, halfway through the trial. So it's really important for us to have that call or at least that check in to some degree. And if they don't pick up on day 3, we call them again the next day. So we just really want to keep that personal touch. Now, again, this is also something that nobody else is doing. So they're in the middle of their trial and they're like, wow, these guys actually care. And that has a profound impact on a prospect when they're making the decision of where they want to actually stick with and where they want to spend their money long term, because they're going to have more confidence in you that you can actually get them to where they want to be because you're showing them that you genuinely care. Now, number 5, the last thing on this list is a day 7 feedback meeting. So the day 7 feedback meeting is the opportunity where you get to sit down with them for between 45 to 60 minutes. So this is a longer meeting, and I would recommend either doing this in person or on Zoom. Now, we want to have some degree of face-to-face connection. So I would stay away from phone calls because we want to be able to see the person. We want to be able to see their body language. We want to be able to look them in the eyes. We want to be able to see how they react when we say certain things because it's going to be important for us to make a very strong connection. And we don't always get that through the phone, especially when we can't see them. And also on the phone, it can be a lot more challenging for people to sell. For us as coaches doing the sale, it can be more challenging for us because we can't use our body language or our expression, other than vocally, of course, to emote certain feelings. So It's really important to be face to face to some degree. That's why my strong recommendation is either in person or on Zoom if you have to. So let's look at those 5 stages again. Number one, Facebook ads. We want to be running some ads to generate leads. Number two, those leads will then go to a landing page and they will be booking a quick 15-20 minute consult call with you directly. Number three, on that consult call, you're going to sign them up. You're going to book them in for 3 classes and a day 7 feedback meeting. Now, the little asterisk here is you're going to take down a credit card so that there is a late cancel or no show fee if they don't come to the classes and if they don't do that meeting with you. The meeting is mandatory. Even if somebody expresses they have no interest in signing up, that meeting is mandatory because, worst case scenario, you can get feedback from them. We learn a lot from the things that we don't do well and from the negative quote unquote feedback that we're going to get. You can also, if somebody isn't going to sign up but they absolutely loved it and they just can't sign up for whatever the reason may be, get a Google review, get them to refer a friend. It's a very good chance for us to have a conversation openly and get something out of it. Number four is our day 3 check in. That's that midway point, which is very casual. It's not scheduled. You're just going to call your prospect in the middle of their trial and just see how they're doing. You're just checking in on them. That's all. You are that concerned and excited coach who just wants to make sure they're going to have the best experience and that they know that you are going to get them the results that they have been looking for. And then last but not least is going to be our day 7 meeting. And that happens obviously on day 7. So that's our feedback meeting where we sit down with them for 45 to 60 minutes and we really start to dive deep. Okay. So again, like I said, simple does not mean easy. The details matter a lot. The devil is in the details. So the stages and the items on that list of what we do on the 7-day trial, it's not an incredible amount. But when we have 15, 20, 40, 70 people on the trial at one time, it can get overwhelming. And this is where the challenge starts to really come in. How do we do this in a scalable way? Think about it like this. Every lead that comes in, whether they book a call or not, we need to nurture them. Because if we don't, we're going to lose them. And then that will very much be money that you have directly paid that's just being burnt. So we want to make sure whether or not they book a call, we call them right away. That way, what we can do is we can either get them booked in for a call or we can just confirm the time that they've booked. It's important to remember too, as we move through this, the first conversation that we have, that consultation call, even though there's no dollars being exchanged, it's still a sale. And there's still a sale happening because we are asking for a credit card. And we need to remember the context. You are speaking to somebody who was sitting on their couch, scrolling on Facebook or scrolling on Instagram, and your ad popped up. They don't know anything about you. They don't know where you are. They don't know who you are. And now they're talking to you on the phone, or a day later, they're talking to you on the phone. So they don't have any real context to who you are. So a lot of trust and rapport need to be built up on that first conversation because even though there's no dollars being exchanged, like I said, it is still a sale. So we need to treat it as such. And we need to be practicing our objection overcomes because they're going to come up. A lot of people think I'm giving something away for free. Who's going to say no to this? You'd be surprised. People will say no for a multitude of different reasons. But again, this is still a sale. Now, moving on to that day 3 check-in. The main premise of this that I want you to remember, if you can take away one word from this, is over deliver. Your job is to over deliver within that first 7 days. And the sooner you can do so, the better, because that person will have already made up their mind. Like, this is absolutely the place that I need to be. So the more you over deliver and the faster you do it, the higher likelihood that you'll have to actually close this person on a back end membership. Now, last but not least, talking about that day 7 feedback meeting again, this is the chance where you're going to really, really do a deep dive into who the customer is, who the prospect is, right? Their goals, their pain, what they're experiencing, really focus on how the struggle has been for them. How long have they been struggling? What types of things are they struggling with? What is their dream outcome in the perfect world? Where do they want to be? And then how are you going to get them there? How are we going to bridge that gap between where they are now to where they want to be? Right? We really need to focus in on this, and then we need to sell that to them. Sell them the program details of what they're doing aren't going to matter as much. Remember, our prospects, by and large, know that what they need to do to transform their lives is going to be a lot of work. They know that. So we don't need to sit there for 45 minutes or even 15 minutes and remind them, because that's just going to push them away. What we need to do is we need to sell them on how amazing it's going to be when they actually get there. Oh my God, did I just, oh no, what have I done? Oh no. Oh, we're back. We're back. I thought I ended the whole stream. It looks like I did not. Okay, we're good. We're good. So, to wrap everything up here, now that we are back and I didn't glitch out the whole thing, that was a close call. Technical difficulties, everybody. And I appreciate you sticking with me even through those. So, what is really important to remember on all of this is the process that we have in place is going to make or break the offer, whichever offer that we choose. Now, doing things on your own and trying to do it manually is possible. It absolutely is possible and it's doable, and I've done it. The challenge is that it becomes difficult to scale. And the more you grow, the more you're going to need to continue to grow. And the more people that you add into this process, the more time it's going to take you, right? The more time it's going to take you to do your lead nurture calls, the more time it's going to take you to do your consult calls, the more time it's going to take you every step of the way to do your day 3 check-ins and to do your day 7. So there's a lot of manual work that's going to need to go into this. Now, working with us, the nice thing that we have here is that we've built out everything for you. So all of the scripts that you need are built out. All of the lead nurture automation, both text and emails, are all built out. The structures of the Facebook ads are all built out. The forms all built out. The calendar booking, it's all built out. So what this means is that you can automate almost the entire process and just focus your energy and your effort on the actual calls and meetings themselves. So this is able to free up a lot of your time. Now, does it get rid of all? Does it automate every single piece of the puzzle? No, of course not, because we don't want certain things automated. We don't want those sales meetings automated. So what we get to do here is we get to automate the majority of the process, because we know that everybody is going through the same pipeline and the same sales cycle. So we can start to do a lot of that heavy lifting ourselves. So we can touch on what those automations look like in another on another day. But if you have questions, you can always hit me up directly, and I'm happy to sort of run you through what that looks like, give you a brief little explanation. But the important thing that you need to start with is putting the process in place for creating this sales process yourself. Okay. Again, you can skip the line and you can just reach out to me and I'll take care of putting this whole thing together for you. But if this is something that you want to try on your own, remember those 5 steps: the Facebook leads, creating the Facebook ads to get leads, the landing pages, signing people up with your consult calls, doing a day 3 check-in, and then last but not least, your day 7 meeting to get that sale across the line into the back end. All right. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for sticking with me. First big technical glitch that happened there, but we got saved. I didn't have to re-record and restream the entire thing, because that would have been that would have been a whole lot of fun. Thank you guys. Take this, implement this in your business right away, and you're going to absolutely crush it. You're going to get a ton more leads and a ton more sales. I guarantee it. All right. Good luck, guys.